Welcome, Lucienne, to your spotlight. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, thanks, Summer.
It's
It's a
so,
lovely spring day out here, lots of sunshine, so
oh, I'm
all good.
jealous. It is so
Yeah,
nice to see you, and I'm glad to see you smiling too.
yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good. Well, while we get ready to get into your story, why don't you tell everyone just who you are, where you're from?
Okay, so I'm currently living in the Netherlands, and for a bit over 3 years. I'm actually from the Netherlands originally, but before this, I lived in Australia for almost 9 years, and I must say. Since I've moved here again, that I actually a lot of the time feel more Australian really than Dutch. So yeah, that's interesting because I feel really sometimes like a foreigner in what's supposed to be my own country, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's has been an interesting experience, and I work as a lecturer in University of Applied Science. It's a school of professional communication, so public relations and marketing and all those things that I mainly teach and supervise research, which I'm very interested in because I like doing research myself. I'm very curious and
Great.
learning new things. Yeah.
That's good. And that curiosity served you well on this journey too.
Yeah, yeah, and I've noticed I need it, but I often come across, judgments and other firmly held beliefs that I actually didn't realize I still had. So, yeah,
We will talk
it's
about
a
that too.
yeah.
So, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what frustrations you had with your body before we started working together or before you found body positivity or intuitive eating or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm still on the body positivity thing. Um, Intuitive eating might be after this one, but something to look forward to, I reckon. So, yeah, I had quite some body frustrations from, I think, quite early on. Like, um, I remember being in primary school and we had this, I don't know if they do that in the States or Canada, but you had like a class photo made every year.
Yes.
So I was like 8 or something. I came home with this class photo, all proud. And the only comment I got was like, "Oh, it's such a pity you didn't pull your shirt down, like over your belly."
Oh,
So I thought,
wow.
oh, that hit like, okay, I have a belly and I'm supposed to hide it apparently. I
Yeah.
didn't think about it like that, consciously, but I sort of took hold. And then when I was about 12, I went from having no breasts to having like huge breasts, which I couldn't adjust to. So they always felt like they were not really part of my body. And they attract a lot of unwanted attention, especially if you're that young. So I always felt like I want to get rid of these. And I never had that thigh gap. It wasn't a thing then, but I remember standing in front of the mirror thinking, there's these two little bubbles on my legs that look really weird. They're not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be straight or something, and it rubbed together. So I would never wear skirts, and yeah. So I think those were like the three main things.
It starts so
And
innocently, doesn't it?
yeah. Well, it's something like obviously when the photo was taken, I wasn't thinking about what I looked like at all. But then by showing the photo, all of a sudden I realized like, oh, there's something wrong. I
Right.
wasn't supposed to sit like that, and I had to pay attention to get my clothes all in order and to not, yeah.
Yeah. And before we started working together, I know that you were spending a lot of time exercising and thinking about food. Do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about what your experience was when you were in that frame of mind?
Well, I know like I had an eating disorder, like I think it would fall under bulimia, but like exercise bulimia
Yes.
really. periods of binging and then periods of exercising way too much and very strict dieting. And when I was writing this down for the course, I actually realized I could write down like 25 different diets that I'd been on, which was so depressing. And it actually, the eating disorder didn't start because I was unhappy with my body, but because I had, traumatic things happening. I came home one day when I was 11, and my mom had done a suicide attempt.
Oh wow!
So that did really bad things to my self-esteem, because as a kid you think, it doesn't matter that I'm here. I'm not worth staying here for, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this was pre psychologists help, etc. So next day my mom was in hospital. They just sent us to school.
Wow.
Didn't tell anyone about it, and it felt really shameful, and had all the neighbors looking because they had seen the ambulance coming and all that. Everyone's nosy, and Dutch people can be very nosy. They want to know everything. And so anyway, that's what it started. I couldn't handle those emotions and things happening, and somehow that went into trying to control food, or thinking I'm not good enough, and if I lose weight I'll be good enough. So that's what I work on,
Mm-hmm.
and my parents will be happy, something like that.
Wow.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really runs so deep, doesn't it? It always goes back to some of these experiences that we've had when we were kids that implanted these coping mechanisms and beliefs that we have about our worthiness and our bodies.
Yeah. So, and then, dieting is something that's so normal that everyone will nobody will tell you, oh, you're 12, you're not supposed to go on a diet, And it's normal that you gain weight because you get breasts, there's weight in those breasts. So, of course, you gain weight. But if they don't tell you that, you think, geez, I gained weight, there's something wrong, I need to go on a diet. So I spent really many, many, many years on this. And exercising would be really compulsive. I love dancing, but I overdid it. I would take 3 different classes in an evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to the gym first and spend an hour and an hour and a half on the treadmill. And, think oh, I shouldn't take any money with me because on my way back I'll pass a fish and chip shop, and if I have money on me, because I will be hungry when I come back, and I'll buy the chips, so I can't take any money.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that, and not wanting to go to social events because I'll be worried I won't feel at ease, so I'll be eating and there will be lots of food everywhere and people will judge me for what I'm eating, and so it takes up a lot of energy.
Yes. Yes, I know we were talking about the other day, just that it was exhausting.
It is.
Exhausting, and the time that it occupied mentally and physically. Yeah. So what prompted you to want to do Rock Your Body? I know you had done, you had recovered from the eating disorder, but what prompted you to want to take that next step?
Well, I was not as really bad into the eating disorder, but it never completely went away as well.
Yes.
And there were actually 2 things, because I was working with a psychologist on childhood trauma, well, what I just told you about, and working with EMDR and ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, because one of the things with an eating disorder is I used it to not feel anything. So I actually couldn't recognize any emotions. I remember that a therapist once said, are you ever angry? And I'm no, never. I'm never angry. And then I actually found out I was angry all the time.
Yes, we numb it. Yes.
I just I didn't know what it felt like. But so we're working on that, and that helped with a lot of things. But I found part of my self-esteem was linked to my body image problems. And the other was that I have IBS, and I got treatment from an acupuncturist. And she suggested I do like an elimination diet to settle down my digestive system, and cut out all the usual, basically go paleo, I think it is, like no sugar, no carbs at all, not even beans, no wheat,
Yes.
no gluten, no dairy, no, well, you know the drill. And I thought I didn't intend to lose weight, but I thought I want to not have, a painful stomach all the time. So I'll do this. And but because I have this history, like I went totally hardcore, like not even a grain of sugar. I was supposed to do this for 2 weeks.
Right.
So I cut out everything, and I was like, making veggies for breakfast and all those things. And one of the 2 weeks, I was actually a holiday week. I went on with my in-laws, and I was so strict, focused on this elimination diet that I missed out on all the fun food and drink, because it was like a celebration week. And, I didn't obviously have any pie or the same food. I was making my own food, etc. And I felt after a week, I felt really, really weak from having no carbs at all. Like I cycle everywhere, which is a good thing of the Netherlands. You can cycle everywhere.
Yes.
And I felt so weak I couldn't actually cycle against the wind, because my legs had like no power to it.
Right.
And this was after a week, and I stuck with it for another week. So that was just bad. So when I was supposed to reintroduce these things slowly, I went completely the other way, because I was so hungry. Even if I hadn't paid attention to portions or whatever, I ate all the time. But so I went berserk on the carbs and the cheese and all that. And then I gained weight, and it was all in my belly, and I felt really ashamed. And there was these two things like, I need to do something different, because I don't want to do this dieting anymore. It's not working, and I need to work on self-esteem and not always feel that bad about my body.
Good.
So these things came together, and I think this is it. I need to find something else, and then I found you. So.
The timing was right. You were done with it and ready for something different. Good. Yeah. Good. So let's talk about the more recent period of time where things have started to shift for you. What were some of the stepping stones that helped you along the way?
Well, I wrote a few things down, so I'll just see so I don't miss any. What I really liked in the Rock Your Body was having that group of women.
Yes.
Which is support. They know what you're doing, because they're going through the same thing, and not everyone has all the same experiences, but there is so much that resonates, which is brilliant, because I always thought, and I think other people thought, like, I'm the only one who is suffering from this, and it's really shameful, and I'm doing all these like stupid things,
Right.
why, and I can't talk about it. And now there are people who say like, oh, I have that too. It was like, whoa, how's that possible? So,
Yes.
that is really great.
It's such an amazing community.
Yeah, and so the coaching calls were really helpful. A bit scary at first, but I find it really helpful. Also listening to other people, and in the program itself, like it was really good working on finding that doppelganger thing, like that nasty voice in your head, and that I identified it was actually my dad, and that a lot of these beliefs and judgments I hold don't actually come from me, but
Right.
I sort of inherited them and made them my own. And then I think, I don't know, it's his things that I took on and feel lousy about. So that was very helpful to realize. And what was the other? I think those were the most important things.
Yeah, the
And as
work
I
that we,
said,
yeah,
I haven't
sorry.
done the last 3 modules
That's
yet,
okay. Well,
but
you can go back and do it
I
anytime.
needed
You
to,
have access for life. So
yeah,
that's the
I
beauty of
needed to
it.
process.
Yes, there's a
Yeah,
lot to process. And I think
yeah,
you mentioned it, one of the biggest things is really learning to acknowledge and recognize the voices of doubt, the voices of fear and things like that. And obviously the community is just incredible.
yeah, it's wonderful. But I feel I really need to practice. Like, it's
Yes.
one thing realizing this is it, but then you have to like a zillion times catch yourself,
It's
you know,
constant.
falling for it again and thinking, oh, this is not actually me, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and that takes time. So I needed that time the past few months to work on that.
Good. What are you proud of?
Oh, a few things I thought about. um, as that was the body image, you know. I never wanted to have photos of myself. So I traveled a lot, and there are a lot of places I don't have any photos of me being there. So now I actually have travel photos with me in it.
Yay.
Which maybe it's not that big a thing, but I really like it. Like,
It's
and I know I've
huge.
been there. I took the photos, but now you see this is me
Oh,
being
I
there,
love that.
and that's great. And I started with taking photos for a closed Facebook fashion group to get used to seeing. You know, it was like a challenge. You had to post 40 days an different outfit with what was just in your closet. So I liked that idea as well. And I did that, and I got very nasty remarks on the very first one. So I thought, no, I'll just ignore this and keep going. But now I've actually posted photos on Instagram, was like publicly, so that was a big step. Um,
And
and
one of your most recent pictures I saw on the F Your Beauty Standards page,
yeah,
which has, I don't even know how many thousands of followers, perhaps
that was
hundreds,
a bit
definitely in the tens.
scary, but it
That
was fun. Yeah.
that was amazing when I was scrolling through my feed and I saw you and I was like, that's Lucienne. Oh my God. I was so happy. Thought that was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I was really um, happy with that. It was very cool. And the other thing, I almost forgot already, but I actually modeled in a plus size fashion show.
Oh
That was
yeah, that's
quite at the
right.
start, yeah. And I was thinking, oh, should I do it? And I did it, and I even modeled like the underwear. So I was wearing these, another highlight, like faux leather trousers, tight ones, and this like balconette bra, which I never would wear in real life. So yeah, in this restaurant full of people, mostly women, but
That is
still,
amazing.
yeah. And what
So
really
good.
helped me, because I was in doubt, like, should I do this? And it felt like I didn't even wear a bikini anywhere, so it was a huge step. And you said, like, look at it from an idea of service, like you're helping other people who's sitting there, you know, by
Yes.
just doing it. And there were a few other women, like different sizes, who did the same thing. So that was a really, yeah, a highlight.
It's a pretty
And it
badass
really,
thing to do.
yeah, yeah, it was. And it's good that I remember it, because I had already almost like forgotten about it. And I think that was big.
Yes. And I know yesterday we were talking a little bit just about you rediscovering your old self. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit? Because I know that we kind of talked about you really just identifying with being a nonconformist. We uncovered that along the way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny because um, somehow, you know, these things went sort of wrong, if you could say that, during my teenage years, which you're probably the most vulnerable anyway. And I had all these other external, you know, family problems going on. But it used to be like a very strongly opinionated feminist, nonconformist person. And then along the way, I sort of started trying to conform by this dieting and fitting into this image of what you're supposed to look like and clothes you're supposed to be wearing, and, you know, um, dye your hair because everyone did, etc., etc. And now, you know, I'm older, so you get all these all of a sudden Facebook feeds on age-appropriate dressing and age-appropriate hair and all these things. And I find since we've been doing this that I just revert back to this 16-year-old. And I think I haven't actually changed on the inside that much. And now I feel like I should just, why not? You know, why would I want to conform to all these ideas that are not mine and I find silly anyway? So that really helped me feel more me,
Yes.
which is great.
Yes, I love it. I love that we reconnected with that. You know, that true, authentic part of you
Yeah,
that you had been turning down and quieting and hiding
yeah,
because of fear of not fitting in, or fear of judgment, and to be able to start to own that.
yeah,
I know I've featured you in the Age Po
yeah,
feed that I do, and I just think it's so amazing to see you take your power back and allow your real self to be seen. And
yeah.
it's unique, and that's what's so beautiful about you.
Yeah, it feels good, and I recognize it a lot if I read stuff on this, on positivity and feminism and all that, about that smaller is not only literally smaller, but that toning down of your voice. And I did that a lot. But when I was a teenager, I didn't have like that filter, so I used to speak up about everything, injustice and people getting excluded, and um, you know, uh, men and women making nasty remarks about mostly females and all those things. And then somehow I thought, oh, it it gets too much adversity, and I'm not supposed to do this. You're sort of supposed to conform more. And I tried to fit in, but it didn't really fit me.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to now think, and maybe that's because I'm old, or I don't know. But I think I don't care. I'm going to speak up, and maybe I'm a bit more tactful doing it. That might help, but I'll say it anyway. So
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
that feels good.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you. So how does all of this make you feel?
Yeah, well, more like me and lighter in some way, because I left stuff behind, and I'm not there yet. You said yesterday, you said, oh, you need to be a bit more patient. I'm quite impatient by nature. So I find that I think, oh, I've been, working on this for like 7 months or so. So I should be good at it by now, because usually I'm good at stuff really quickly. But yeah, and but one thing I learned, and even with therapy, because I had more therapy, during my lifetime, and I always felt like I needed to be fixed, and I literally would use those words like, I
Yes.
can't quit therapy because I haven't been fixed yet. I'm not like normal, or yeah, fixed. And now I learned from this, like, there's no such thing as being
Yes.
fixed. This is it. And that's okay. But the idea of being, I'm enough as it is. I don't need to prove it, or I don't always feel it like that. But you know I know intellectually, I know that it's true. So I just hope if I keep working at some point it will most of the time feel true.
Yeah, it's a little bit of ambivalence. It's you have the moments and the glimmer of hope, and you feel it, and then you have a day where you're back to where you started, and the longer that you keep going, the more moments you have on that side where it starts to feel solid and reinforced. And I just want to acknowledge you that you've really committed to this. You've put so much effort into this. You were always showing up for support and for the calls. And I think that that's a testament to your ability to persevere and your strong will to change. And that in and of itself is a huge act of self-love. So I just want to acknowledge that in you, because I think that that's a really incredible thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I have trouble with that, like I try to write down every evening like good things, and one is like, what have I done well today? But for me,
Yes.
that still I have always trouble with that one because I think it needs to be a big, huge,
We
make a
all
change in
do.
the world thing.
We all do. I know.
I fixed world problems today. What did you do?
Yes.
Something like that. So, so it's not that. So yes, I'm learning to be more compassionate and think, even if I did a small thing, it's all right, and it's enough. And if I have an off day and I've spent it, watching, binge watching TV series because I felt like it and I had my day off, then that's all right. So
Good. Good.
yeah.
Is there
So
anything else from your story that you want to share with people that you feel would be important, or do you feel like we covered all of it?
well, what I want to is I was thinking you said you asked like, do you have any advice or whatever?
Yeah. What's your advice?
We want to do it, and I think um, that realization that you're not the only one experiencing this, which might be a bummer, thinking I'm so unique, like you are, but there are a lot of things that you can actually share with people, maybe not with people in your direct environment, but they are out there. So that's the beauty of internet. You can find these people, and I find it really helpful. And that it's not too late. We were talking about that because I'm 52, and then I think, oh, I should have done this 30 years ago, but yeah, I didn't. But it's still very useful, and it's not too late to find your tribe.
Never. Never too
So
late.
yeah, so
Thank
yeah, I'd
you.
say go for it.
Good. Thank you for that. And I know that that's very inspiring to others too, because it can feel a little isolating, especially when a lot of people in body positivity, at least on social media, are younger.
Yeah,
Obviously that's why I really wanted to start the age positivity, which was actually your inspiration. So I'm just going to take a minute to credit you for this because you were the first
yeah,
one who, or you were, one of, I've heard it a few times before, but you were the one who really pushed for it. You said, there's no older people, and I want
yeah,
to see more older people. And I think I said, well, if it's not there, create it.
yeah,
And you started your Instagram account, and we talked about ways to help spread the message. But it inspired me to at least use my platform and my following to get
yeah.
that message out there even further and to increase that visibility because of people like you. So major credit to you because you were pretty much the inspiration behind Project Aged Pro.
Well, thank you. I'm very glad you're doing that because it's really good, and I would like to see people of all ages and colors and whatever. That really helps. Not only seeing like
Yes.
15-year-old girls, like
Right.
nothing wrong with them, but they're
No.
not really someone to relate to physically.
Right. Yeah. You want
Yeah,
diversity. Diversity is so important.
yeah,
Diversity, and I think age diversity is where there's a lot of opportunity as well. There's a lot of opportunity in other within other marginalized groups as well. But in the case of this, age is definitely an opportunity as well.
yeah. So I'm very happy you're doing that. I love it.
Thank you.
And and thank you, yeah. But
Thank
like
you.
talking to you about it gave me that all, that yeah, it helps voicing this to someone who actually thinks, yes, that's a very good idea. Instead of, what are you talking about? Yeah,
Yes, I will always have your back.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story today. It's been amazing to catch up with you, and I know that you're going to be doing the course again
yes,
when it starts in
yes,
on April 3rd. So that's very exciting, and you'll be there in the community cheering on all the new members as well.
yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I was very happy I found you at that right point in time. And I'm sure, we'll talk lots more.
Thank you. Well, I'm
So,
so grateful you found me too, and you came into this world.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Lucienne.
Bye.